for taking the time to interview with us and give us some insight into the game that you've worked on.
No problem. I love to talk about cool stuff, and our game is pretty cool.
I guess for everybody who doesn't know already, could you tell us who you are exactly and what your role is here with Kabam and what other work we may know you from?
Sure. My name is Cuz Perry. It's a strange name. It's a nickname that's stuck to me, so I have to deal with that for life. Yeah, I'm a creative director here at the Kabam Vancouver studios, and I've worked on, back in the day, worked on console, the Skate series, and worked on Fast and the Furious for Kabam, and most recently, prior to Transformers, creative director on Marvel's Contest of Champions, which is a action RPG fighting game. Enjoying its second year of killing it, or second anniversary, I think today or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's one that people will definitely know you from. That's a pretty good resume. Yeah. As far as this new game goes, a lot of it's a fighting game, correct?
Yeah, we call RPG fighting. It's definitely action-packed fighting, taking the basis that we started with Marvel and evolving the fighting system to be more in-depth and fun and really true to Transformers.
What kind of character, like how many total characters are playable in this game, in Forged to Fight?
At launch, I think we're in the neighborhood of 25, maybe 25 plus. But we keep putting out characters on a very regular basis. We'll have lots of new characters coming just after launch. And it really, as an example of sort of the cadence of what we do, if you look at Marvel Contest of Champions, we launched with, I think, a little less than 25. And right now, I think we're in the 80s, the number of characters. So that's something that Transformers fans can look forward to. We're definitely going to be creating characters, but we want to react to, like, is there a new toy line? Is there a new event? Is there a new movie? Is there something that is blowing up in the world of Transformers in the universe that makes sense for us? Maybe we had plans, we plan out more than a year after launch, but if there's something that kind of blows up or a new event, we want to make sure that we can react to it and give the fans what they want.
Yeah, and there's a lot of media for Transformers fans to follow. You've got television shows, comic books, and then, of course, the live-action movie series, which is coming out not too far after the game, I would imagine. So I imagine you got some characters prepared for that as well.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that, but that's a really good idea. and if you look at what we do with Marvel as sort of a model. Mm-hmm. Pretty smart idea.
Okay, fair enough. Which characters, like, how were they chosen, and were there any that you wanted in there that just didn't make the cut at launch, at least?
Sure. Well, the one thing I think first and foremost to set us apart from other games out there, like if you've seen our trailer, if you're aware of what's going on, we actually have access to Transformers from across the Transformer sort of multiverse. So we can get cinematic bots in there. You can see in the trailer. We got cinematic Megatrons in there. We've got Generations G1 inspired. We modify them to kind of like the toy, kind of like G1, so that they're stylized to fit our game, our fighting, and our gameplay. And then we also have other ones. So we have a wide swath to choose from, other eras of, and if you look closely, like the media, it's kind of getting out there. So all I would recommend is if you want to see perhaps one other era, take a look at our website and look down in the bottom right-hand corner. He's popping up on other websites, and people are figuring out who's in it. So having said all that, how do we choose them? We choose them based on a variety of things. Obviously try to have a balance between Autobot and Decepticon. Try to have a balance between the different sort of generations or different universes that they come from, different eras. And then also we have a class system like we do in Marvel. So we want to make sure that the classes are balanced so that one doesn't overpower another one, so that We're all in the tech class and we're fighting against the tactician class, but there's only one tactician. That doesn't make sense. So for us, we do a lot of that. We also work. Hasbro's been a great partner in we have our own fan favorites that we have, personal favorites, and then Hasbro's tell us, well, these are also very, very popular ones. These are trending well in terms of this is where the communities, the various Transformers communities they're promoting these other ones. Or if, as you sort of said, there's a lot of media, and if Hasbro says, well, hey, this one's going to be popular, or this is going to be play a significant role in the upcoming event or media type, then we definitely listen to that. So that's how we pick them. Does that make sense? And in terms of, I think part of your question also was, is there some that didn't make the cut? The reality is, making the cut, if you think about for Marvel, we're at 80-plus characters now. We don't want to put all of the characters, great ones, in right away, because then there's nothing exciting or new or spectacular down the line. So you got to save some of the favorites. But we can say, because we are a one-on-one fighting as our base gameplay, certain types of Transformers like Combiners and Titans, they just don't fit based on the scale. It'd be unfair. It'd be bringing a giant, huge foot stomping on you wouldn't be so much fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the logistics of trying to balance a Combiner with just a regular bot would probably drive you crazy.
He wouldn't fit on the screen. He wouldn't see his head or his waist, or so. That's not to say that we wouldn't tackle that challenge someday in the future. But at our initial launch, what makes sense for us is let's get bots, single bots, fighting each other. Ones that are popular, ones that represent factions and universes, and throw them in the mix and let people have fun, and then give us feedback and let us know where we should go with it in the future.
Excellent. Were there any characters that you guys weren't initially going to put in, but maybe there was a developer fan favorite that they just kind of pushed through and said, yeah, we got to have this guy? Or is it pretty much just syncing up with what Hasbro wants versus this is what we want to see at launch, this is what we want to see 6 months from now type of situation?
We've been pretty aligned as far as the dev team and Hasbro. They honestly, it sounds cliche, but they've been great to work with. They've been awesome. I think it's been good that we've had a modicum of success or tremendous success with Marvel, so that I think Hasbro kind of, some of the trust is there already going in. They know, we get it. And they were passionate about it, and so they've been really, there's definitely nothing forced down anybody's throat at all. It's been, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, how about this? Hey, what about this? The one I kind of don't really want is Wheelie, because I have to do the writing, and I'm not a rapper or a poet. So I don't think I could do Wheelie justice at the present time. I have to get a guest writer in for Wheelie.
I will say that's probably the most unique answer for not wanting Wheelie that I've heard. Most people have their own reasons, but I don't want to write his stupid dialogue.
I didn't say stupid. I said I'm just not a rapper or a poet.
Right.
But I really do love Slingshot. So, I have been joking. One of our art directors doesn't like him at all. And I've always been teasing him, like, man, we got to bring back Slingshots. He's got a good slingshot. Let's bring him in. And he's just like, no Slingshots in our game.
Now, you mentioned previously, and this is something that we picked up on and noticed as well, that unlike most games, or just most representations of Transformers, you don't stick with a singular branch of the continuity family. You went all out and went to all different places. Now, when you get these in here, like if you have G1 Megatron and live-action movie Megatron, are these unique characters with their own class skills, or are they just skins for just the single character of
No,
Megatron.
absolutely unique characters with their own class skills, their own animations, their own moves. We don't believe in reskinning. We, in all honesty, in the first couple months of Marvel, we probably had a couple that were like, oh, this guy's kind of close. And fans don't want that. They know better. So, like, we're definitely dedicated to making everybody unique, feel unique, and really letting their personality stand out. We have, if you've seen screenshots, we will have Optimus from Cinematic Optimus 2007 Optimus and Generations-inspired Optimus. But they are of different classes. They have a different weapon. Their animations, their special attacks, and their signature abilities are different. So if you got one or you got the other, you know, you want to get both of them. You can make a team of Optimuses eventually, I guess. But they would complement each other, not just be the same thing.
Right. That's actually,
we're passionate about that.
That's great to hear. Now you mentioned Marvel Contest of Champions quite a bit. In regards to gameplay and character progression and battles and so forth, what would you say is similar to Marvel's, but what's different than Marvel? Like what can people expect in a comparison?
So the similarities in the basic melee combat, standing toe to toe fighting, that's similar. Where we definitely branched out and evolved, because it's the dream. We don't want to do the same game. That's not fun creatively, and it's not true to Transformers. So you have to dissect what are Transformers. Well, if you do not have meaningful transformation at the player's volition during the course of combat, you don't have a Transformers game. You don't have a good one. So that was the first task, was how are we going to get transformation in the game and feeling good and part of the combat so that the player can do it whenever he wants and make it meaningful. We had sort of the eureka moment one of our designers came up with. In Marvel, if you hold down on the right side of the screen, you perform a heavy attack, which is like a big uppercut punch or a big, heavy haymaker kind of punch. Well, we said, why don't we use that as the transformation button, and it becomes a heavy attack, and so the bot turns into alt mode and performs a heavy attack, but not just a punch. So in vehicle form, depending on the vehicle, they'll have different kinds of heavy attacks, whereas Marvel is pretty much everybody does a punch. We're saying, Optimus turns into a truck and, rams into the guy because that makes sense. That's what Optimus would do. He doesn't have much else. Bludgeon, who turns into a tank, what's he going to do? He's going to back up and shoot you with his cannon, his tank cannon. So, and Starscream's going to fly. Grinder from the movie, he turns into a attack helicopter. He's going to turn into a helicopter and shoot you from across the arena, which leads to way more options, and you have to understand the enemy and what they transform into in order to evade their attack, as opposed to just dash backwards or try to block or do this. Then the other thing that we did that is fundamental to Transformers and thinking about it, and then also what really changes the gameplay tremendously is, all the bots, they all shoot some sort of ranged weapon. Everybody has a gun. Everybody has a blast. Some people have chain guns of doom. So, they all have something, right? So if you did that in a 2D, like a Marvel, what's going to end up happening is you're going to stand on one side and just shoot the other guy. So what we've done is we're like, if that's the case, that's not that much fun. How do I avoid that? Sidestepping. So now what we've got, that led to having 3D arenas. So now we have full movement. You can go left, you can go right. If you swipe up, you sidestep and you can avoid attacks. If you dash backwards, you can dash forwards. So that opens up the arenas to a 3D arena, kind of like Virtua Fighter, the cameras in Virtua Fighter, how you move around with those, which is a whole different gameplay. Suddenly it becomes, so what the cool thing is, you have to start thinking about, okay, that guy's going to do a heavy attack on me. Is Optimus the best thing to do? Get distance backwards from him because he's going to come charging at me and do like a donut and smack me with his tail or something, so I'm going to back up. If it's someone like Starscream who turns into a plane, but because Starscream inherently he likes to shoot from the back, so he's going to shoot a rocket at me hovering over on his side of the screen. My best thing there to do is just sidestep, to move a few times, and if you get really, and it comes to be really skillful. Like somebody could do a melee attack on you, and if you're really quick, you actually can sidestep them, and they can miss altogether. So that opens up from a gameplay thing. It feels like a different game. It's like it's familiar at first, but then you start playing like, whoa, there's a whole bunch more to it. And anytime if you want to shoot your ranged weapon as a light attack, all you have to do is get distance, back up a little bit, and then if you tap like a light attack, you'll fire your weapon. It'll be like a light attack firing your ranged weapon.
That sounds really in-depth and really cool. There's a lot of features in the game. Which feature are you most proud of that you were able to get in there?
In terms of talking about the feature set, we're not focused too much on it. We do have some really cool PvP stuff that is not present at all in Marvel. I can't go into it because Carol's on the line and she'll say, save that for later because we're going to talk about that at another time.
Yes, I will say that.
So I guess right now what I would say that I'm the most really excited about is the fighting one. The other thing that's kind of cool is the way we set up the narrative and the story. Marvel was very abstract. You're in space, and we did that for a reason, But when you go on missions in Forged to Fight, you're actually in a 3D environment running through a world, and so there's definitely a feeling of exploration, and you're discovering a world, and you're trying to unravel what's the mystery of this planet. We don't tell you right away. You got to play through the game, and at first you're just like, whoa! I landed in this craziness. I got a team of Autobots, starting with the good guys. You're not relegated to just Autobots, but that's how the story starts. And you wake up from this crash landing, or you emerge, and you're just like, holy cow, what's going on? Realities are colliding. All these different guys are fighting. They're all possessed, and this is craziness.
So the RPG elements.
And then as you
sorry.
Yes.
The RPG elements, they play pretty heavily into the game as opposed to it being just a fighting game.
Absolutely. You're leveling up your characters. You're leveling up their skills. We've added, one of the features we added is this idea of a mod, and you could place that in certain you can put that in certain places so that if your robot is fighting there, it can enhance in a different way. So you want to match the mod with the bot. So right now we've got Bumblebee. He's got evade as one of his signature abilities because obviously he's quick and he's nimble. But then if you add a mod of like immobilize or something else, then you can really make him very powerful and change the way he plays in relation to other people. So there's very, for the people that just want to pick it up and play and say, hey, it's a fighting game, it's good, that's kind of more on my level. I love that. It's great. For the people, and we've really witnessed it with Marvel, and so we wanted to expand upon it and make it even deeper. For the mid and end game users that are really into the game, they're going to be able to really customize and tune and RPG the game a lot and go down those paths and really figure out the best teams. And there's a lot of ways that you can use your bots so that you don't feel like, well, I got a bunch of bots, but I can't use X amount anymore because they're not powerful enough. We definitely are addressing that with this. This is something that we want to do so that you've got more things to do with your bots for different sort of gameplay styles.
Okay. Now this is a mobile game, and it's going to be in the App Store.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
A lot of mobile games, and even some of the Transformer games, they do rely a lot on DLC and microtransactions to really excel in the game. How much emphasis is the quote pay to win going to be present in this game, and what can latecomers or casual gamers expect to rank in terms of going up against people who just love to buy all the features? Well,
the game, everything in the game is available to anybody. It's not necessarily pay to win. It's if you spend money, you're going to accelerate how fast you get somewhere. But like with Marvel, we have people that are top-ranked alliances that don't really spend money at all or nothing, but that's time put into the game and being skillful and making the right decisions. And then there's other people that say, I want to accelerate my speed. All the features are available to everybody, so it's not like you don't well, I bought this, so now I'm better than the other guys. So we don't, as a studio, we look at it as balancing. We really want to balance because we play the game ourselves live, and we do not, I know it's going to sound weird, we don't give ourselves anything. So so we're all players too, so we want to know, some of us spend, some of us don't. And we all want to know what's the player's experience like. So I don't know. In terms of it's a model. It's expected. People, and the reality is the success that we've had with Marvel has allowed us to make Marvel even better. Because from where it was day one to where it is now, it's night and day. And that's also the same thing with Transformers. It's like it affords us the ability to make an even better game, more polished, and make just keep building a better product. So for us, it's the model that we've adopted, and we like it.
Yeah, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that model. I've paid plenty of games to get perks and things like that. Some users were just concerned about, oh well, if I don't buy this thing, I can never get it. But you make it sound like it's open to everybody. It's just a matter of how much time. The casual gamers may benefit more from just dropping a few bucks here and there on some items. Then
that is how we try to balance the games. And some people are used to one model, some people are used to the other. But for the most part, people are it's up to you. Like when we're at Comic-Con and they talk with us, we were with one guy's like, I'm happy with where I'm at, my alliance, and I don't, but having fun. If you can have a fun experience either way, and that's our goal, then we've done our job.
Excellent. Now, moving on to the gameplay aspect of it, I believe Marvel has this, but I'm not sure. But will this game have controller support via Bluetooth or some similar connectivity?
I'm unaware of that. Do we have controllers? Question or a technical one?
No, we don't.
I don't believe we do.
Don't.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about.
And right now, I know we're not currently. That's not high on the feature list right at the current time. If there was a huge demand or something like that, we could always entertain it. But what we find for the most part is it really works well. Like we're not porting a fighting system from somewhere else. We dissect what the capabilities, and the beautiful thing is in the past couple of years, just as phones and mobile devices get stronger and stronger, it allows us to do so much more with the game and just the fidelity and all, the visual fidelity and the gameplay fidelity. So we right now supporting controllers.
Okay. Now, as far as the music into the soundtrack goes, as part of the gameplay experience, where did you draw your inspiration when assembling that soundtrack? What kind of moods can players see when they go into the different worlds and environments versus the fighting?
That's cool. Nobody's asked that. Thank you. That's a refreshing one because it's different. So from a soundtrack perspective, we took our cues as we did with Marvel. We need the music to match our visual look, and our visual look is I'm not going to say cinematic. I don't mean the movie, but I mean cinematic quality, not necessarily the movie. So we did go down that path. We didn't go down classic 80s, the retro thing, because that doesn't match with all of our mods. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like when you're fighting and you got cinematic Ironhide versus cinematic Barricade, well, they don't really, and then you've got, we have the power, like that kind of didn't match with the 80s stuff. So we didn't do that, but we are working with a composer who works with us, but our sound guy also has worked on Transformers games for Hasbro in the past, so he knows what he's doing. It feels good. And the other thing that we're pretty passionate about, though, is it is differentiating, to your point, the audio, the effects. So when I have a Generations blaster, it's going to sound 80s. The transformation, if you listen carefully when they transform, the transformation sounds during the course of battle for the Generations guys, it's the classic 80s sound. the ones for the cinematic ones, it is the cinematic transformation style. But there's definitely like the character, the flavor of the bots. Some of them are more sci-fi, some of them are more retro, based on where they come from.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad I was able to give you one refreshing question, but that's pretty much all I have for you. Do you have anything that you'd like to add, just to let our readers know, or I don't know. I actually don't even know if I'm going to put this on YouTube or not, so we'll see. But edit that part out. But do you have anything you want to add to them?
Spring. It's coming out in spring. It's starting to hit beta in different territories. But I know we're coming out in spring. In really, just I think as a team we love to see what people are saying and hopefully get feedback so that it can help us, develop the game and make it even better and stronger for everybody. But I know there's much more to come, so maybe let's leave a little bit of curiosity for more stuff later.
Well, I know Transformers fans in general can be a picky group, but we don't, and it definitely sounds like you have that, and we're looking forward to playing it for sure.
But we definitely know we have to have thick skins. From half the people will like this, and some other people will like that. But our reality is the sheer numbers of people that can see the game and download it, because it's on. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got a device. We want to make something that can touch everybody. And sometimes we get put into these, like, by age. Well, that's not what I remember, because this is the lore. And then there's other people like, hey, dude, I'm 25. My first Transformer experience was a movie, and then I watched Prime. There's all these different people that get introduced to it at different eras, and there's the 90s kids definitely are into sort of a different one. and
yeah, you got your Beast
there you go.
Wars.
I didn't want to officially say that, but yes. and all those fans, right? Like, they're all different. So if you can provide something for all of them, and then I think the interesting thing for us a little bit is how do they interact with each other? And what's their knowledge of each other? Because, again, Cinematic Ironhide doesn't know Grimlock from back in the day, right? He doesn't know Generations. He might,
right?
He doesn't even know Grimlock from perhaps Cinematic, because he wasn't in that movie. He was dead by then. So it's interesting kind of playing around with those timelines and thinking, what does that guy know about that? And how can we use that? And how can we... There are little Easter eggs in the dialogue and the stories that accommodate those people.
And we love to see that being taken into consideration. You mentioned that when Beast Wars came out in the 90s, Transformers was only 10 years old, roughly 10 or 12 years old. And, now we're 20 years removed from Beast Wars, and there's been just so much in between. There really is something for everybody. So the fact that you can kind of squeeze all that into one place does definitely set you apart.
Yeah, and we've been blessed by Hasbro being able to do that. And I do want to give a shout-out to them for, allowing us to break the canon a little bit and create a story that explains why factionless works and why these realities are colliding, and giving us the support and working with us and collaborating with us to do that, because that opens the door to a different experience for Transformers fans.
Awesome. Yeah, I did have actually one question that I skipped. I know we're running out of time. The trailer was very impressive. And I did see what looked like portals in the background. So there's an in-story explanation as to why all these different universes are coming together. Is that what what you're saying?
Absolutely. At first, it's a bit of a mystery. Then you're like, whoa, these realities are colliding, and you're just trying to survive and figure out, what. And then it begins to dawn upon you, and then you find out what you believe to be who's behind it. There is a bigger power behind it. And then, is that the end, or is there more? Is there a greater scheme as you unravel the mysteries of the planet? And that's what we're pretty excited about, the fact that it's a 3D environment that you're running through and all of that. Because it does give a sense of, like, unraveling the mystery of what is this planet? What are these crazy artifacts? What's this architecture? Where did it originate? How is it here? Who's behind it? And solving that. We're pretty pumped on that.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to answer all these questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing more when it becomes available. So thanks again.
My pleasure. I love to talk, obviously. I talk a lot.